Hello, today I'll be showing off the tool called Wireshark. Now before I begin, a quick disclaimer. You can just read it on the screen, but some of the stuff I am using is copyrighted. I don't mean any copyright infringement. I'm just using it for education stuff and to make it easier for me. Now, first off, what is Wireshark? It is a network traffic analysis tool. And all you need to do to download it is just go off to wireshark.org and then go off, scroll, or easier enough, click download. And then you would click whichever version you're on. If it's Windows, one of these, or if it's Mac you're using, then use this. Once you just download it and follow the install process, it's fairly self-explanatory. But the best thing about it is that it is completely free. You do not pay a single thing for any bit. You just download and go. Now I already have it downloaded, but what you need to do is get something that's called a PCAP file. It has the .pcap file extension. This is something that Wireshark will read. It's, in short, basically network traffic captured onto a file. Kind of like how like a .log is for like logs for computers. It's the same thing here with networks. Now this is, again, the copyrighted material, but and to show I've mastered the tool, I did this about a month ago. I'm just reusing this because it's easier. And all you'd have to do is just download your PCAP file from wherever you're capturing it from. But I already have it pulled up. And so I actually have questions like, say your boss wants to know a certain couple of things. Like he wants to know, like, what was the first username and password combo used to try and log into our server? Well, all you'd have to do is, one of the neat things is you can right click on one of these packets, which is what each line of this is a single packet that got sent across the network. But to answer that, all you have to do is use the follow tool. All you have to do is right click on the packet you want, go down to this follow, and then you can follow one of these streams. Now what this does is basically it takes all of what that packet you selected, the first one, all the packets associated with that stream or that set of data. And what it would do is it would put it into a file format, like right here. It would just show off all the data that gets sent across in that stream, or in that small set of data. Now, this is, of course, the FTP server echoes back stuff. That's what's going on here. But you see the first username that was used is user1. And the password for user1 is Cyber Skyline. Now you can see this because it's not encrypted. It's just there. And you can look at encrypted traffic, but you're going to see a bunch of garbage here instead of easily readable stuff. And that's the good thing about network analysis tools such as Wireshark, is you can look at each packet that got sent across the network, look at it, and then be like, oh, it did this. Oh, hey, he sent off this file, or he inputted this command. And that is actually one of the other questions I got asked. But also, you can see what version of the, like, really this is a lot of different information, versions, what server it's going to use. It's a FileZilla server. This here is its version. You can even see, because they put it in here, who wrote it. Really just any information that gets passed along in this stream or this set of data, you can see with a tool like Wireshark. And once, of course, he puts in quit, you see that input it in and then it stops. That's all. Now another cool thing with the stream function, like when you follow a stream, you see this here at the bottom. Stream 0. I just hover, it tells you there's a total of 7 streams. This means there's 7 different sets of like data flows. Like, I guess you can call it like a data river almost, if it help you visualize it. There's like 7 different rivers to look through. This right here is one river. He opened up the server, he input the username, the password, got told it was wrong, and he decides he's going to leave. He's done here. That's one. Then you go into another one. Of course, you see the same information, is the same server. He tries that same username again. but he decides to use a different password. But this time, the server tells you he logged on. And because someone was capturing all this network traffic, you got to see that. Then, of course, it would show off. Of course, this is all unencrypted, but it can show off different commands that are getting used, like what the user inputs, and then what the server gives back. You can see both sides of the network. And of course, he's just doing his thing, looking at this bank.cap file, he's deleting it, whatever reason. And then store, he's downloading this compcodes.zip file. Now, log files may not show this, it would depend on their settings, but with network traffic analysis, if you have the network traffic captured with a tool like Wireshark, there is a way to capture it with just this tool in general. Or really, any tool that captures it, you can use Wireshark to look at it and see what happened. Of course, it has to be unencrypted. I can see all of what's going on that went across the network. But, of course, you can just look at streams all day you want. This is just some data. You can't really tell what's going on. You can see it, but humans can't read it. But that's just looking at the packets. And, of course, it shows you what protocol is getting used. Here, it's all just a file transfer protocol. But if you had, like, a website, it would be like the HTTP or HTTPS, etc., etc. Just any protocol, it will get put right through here in this section. Now, also, another thing you can do with Wireshark is there's a bunch of different like analysis tools in Wireshark. So yeah, you see the source, but it's some name. You don't know what's going on. What you can do is go off to Statistics, this tab right here, and then you can also go to Capture File Properties. Now, of course, here we can't see much. It wasn't captured. But you could even see the hardware that got used, what operating system this traffic was on, and even what application it was over. And also, with the first packet and last packet, you can see the date of when this network traffic occurred. Of course, you can see it all happened in just 3 minutes on October 11th, 2015. And you can see just a bunch of other different information, just the capture file properties. Of course, different network captures would give you different information, but that is useful to know. So if you want to need to figure out what operating system was getting used here for an investigation, you just use capture file properties and it should show up. And then also in the statistics toolbar here, there's like a whole bunch of IP addresses, you can just go to IPv4 statistics at the bottom. And there's a couple of different options going on, but usually when I do stuff, I will look at all addresses. Now, of course, with this capture file, there's just one. It's just the one here, but it would list them all out. So really, the only IP address getting shown is this 129.2.205.242. And if there were other ones here, it would show you how often they came up, like the count. And say you got a whole bunch of IP addresses, but you want to know which one popped up the most, then you can just use count and sort it here, like starting with the least amount at the top or the most amount at the top, and just filter by these different values. So say if you want some specific IP address keeps sending you a lot of stuff, but there's a whole bunch of IP addresses, you could then sort with like how much, like who's sending the most stuff, and you can see, oh hey, it's this external one here, they're sending us a lot of stuff, they're probably the attacker trying to shut down our network somehow. Really just various things, help you out with whatever you're looking for. It's up to you to make sense of it, but Wireshark has enough things in it to help show you what happened, and you can figure it out. And also, now of course, there's just a bunch of different options, just for like HTTP traffic, DNS, etc., etc. And now the fun thing is, if you went over to File, there's also this option called Export Objects. Now, if there was traffic here that was over in like a website, you could see like different files pop up here. it would be like, oh, say, hey, they downloaded this picture file and they downloaded this text file. You would see it appear here in the export objects. What you would do is you could click on it and then just hit save. And then it would just take it from this capture file, if it was present, and then save it to your desktop or to your investigation file, whatever it is you're doing. But also, say you just walked on site and you need to investigate what's going on, like it's an active investigation, an active crime, for instance. You can actually capture traffic. All you have to do is hit capture, and it would bring up network traffic capturing. I don't have anything going on, but you can select, pardon that, you can set different options, if I can find it. This is an instance bit not cooperating. I get it. But for capture options, you can have all these different connections you have established. Of course, they could be named something different, like if your network is named, like it's your business named network, it may have it, call it, instead of just being called Ethernet, Ethernet 2, so on and so forth. It may get called that. All you have to do is click on it, and it would go to this blue icon at the top, and it would start capturing packets. You would see it in live time, and if anything was there, it would capture it, and it would be the same way as this. It would be like whatever protocol it was, when it got sent, who sent it, who received it, so on and so forth. And this is just one short, quick example. There's a whole bunch of different things. But also, one quick thing before I go. Now you can use follow and then select a stream, but if you want just that specific packet, there's a lot of information here. You can go down to see exactly what that packet sent over, like this first packet, for example, sent over all this information here at the bottom. But then also, you get more detailed information. Of course, some of this is really specific. It may or may not ever get used, but you can see exactly when this particular packet arrives, so you can see if they're coming in really quickly or if your network's being really slow sending things over. Again, it would depend on your investigation and what it is you're using it for. You can see different IPv4 stats here, shows the different source and destinations with their IP address. He's sending it to himself. And of course, right now, that since it's file transfer protocol I selected, it will be this here, but this can get replaced with HTTP or whatever type of protocol it is. If there's more information, it would show it down here. It really is just a whole bunch of different options. You can look at what port it came through. The destination port for this packet was 53.233. It just depends on what type of protocol is getting used, but there's a wealth of information coming on. Let's find another good example here. There's just different like flags or like network stuff. How long the packet can exist, its time to live, so on and so forth. There's a wealth of information to browse through in just one packet, never mind all of them. And that's just a quick overview of Wireshark, the basic stuff that most everyone would use it for. There's a wealth of stuff in here for really specific uses. But for the most part, you can just go packet by packet and look at different information that got passed throughout. If it's not encrypted, you could even see the information getting passed. Like you could see the username and password that got sent and what the server says in response. And also what version, if they choose to broadcast it publicly. It just all varies. But really, all you have to do if you want to view a .pcap file or some network traffic, just use Wireshark. It's really easy. I hope you learned something. I hope you use this free tool, and thank you.